Oh, right away. Wow.
Yep. Yeah, I like Black Friday. How are you, Keith?
Oh, I'm doing good. I do my Black Friday online, so it'll be
Yeah, me
Amazon
too,
and
Keith. That's what I've been doing.
yeah, new egg,
Courtesy of my mother, because I'm a spoiled brat.
all the above. Oh wow. Is it cold where you're at? You got snow there or what? Huh, Carissa?
Yeah, it's cold here, but no snow yet.
Okay.
It's like 20 degrees.
Oh wow. Okay.
That's why I'm excited for Seattle, Keith. I'm not excited to get on a plane, though. Not gonna lie to you, with all the terrorist attacks, I'm probably gonna be freaking out.
It's a long plane ride. It's about 5-6 hours.
Yeah, probably gonna freak out, but that's okay. I'll take a Xanax. We'll call it a day.
Be at
I don't like
40,000.
heights.
Oh yeah, you gotta go over the mountains. Have you been this far? This far?
I've been to LA before.
Okay. Yeah. We're up by Canada. It's pretty far.
Yeah, I've been to LA, and that's the furthest I've been. So are you excited for your first radio show, Keith?
Yeah, this is my first radio show. This is interesting. This should be very interesting.
Yeah, well, and what were you saying, Ross? Sorry.
No, I was just talking about the snow. Like over here, right across from Seattle, is British Columbia, and they don't even see snow at all. So unless you're on the mountains there.
Yeah, that is true. Seattle's the same way. It snows in the higher elevation.
Yeah, you can slip into British Columbia pretty quick, couldn't you?
I've never been, but yeah, it's not far. It's not far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't wait to listen to your story. I haven't heard it, so it's going to be interesting.
Oh, so you get to get the whole newness of it all.
Right.
No. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna get the juicy stuff.
Okay.
I hope.
Yeah, you're gonna get some juicy stuff. Yeah, it's gonna be.
Well, this case is definitely an interesting one, that's for sure.
It's it's been pretty long, pretty lengthy, and just when you think you are used to something, something new happens. So.
Yeah, and I think I'd rather get this version than the Ghost Adventures version, to be honest. So.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Definitely, yeah.
Oh yeah. They left so much out. So much out.
And Phil, how's the activity where you are? Is it still is it calmed down and stuff?
No, it's really active.
Is it just like normal stuff that the usual, or does it amp up at all?
Yeah, it's amped up today. Yesterday we went to Staten Island and to visit my mom, where it all started in that house, and the lights were flickering when my mom was talking to Karissa about what happened years ago with that house. So energy follows. Energy never really goes away. And I talk about that a lot, but...
So, does it get more active when you come back from a trip and stuff? Or
yes. Why would you... Yeah, you know what? What made you ask that?
Just the fact that you were saying it amped up a little bit, and the fact that you were gone.
Yeah, that's very interesting, because that is so true. That is so true.
Yeah, it just came to my head that, maybe they need that stuff. But anyways, I'll give you a 3, 2, 1 in like 10 seconds, and you guys can rock and roll.
Great.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Oh, you too. You too.
Happy Thanksgiving to you.
3, 2, 1.
Hi guys, this is the Paranormal Stuff Night, and I am here with my co-host Philip Siracusa.
Everybody, thank you for joining us on the Paranormal Panel. We have a very, very special guest tonight, and we're going to let him introduce himself. He's been on Ghost Adventures.
Yes, he was on Ghost Adventures, but don't take that episode for anything, because it's not worth anything.
Look, let me explain something.
It's TV land.
There you go. TV cuts out a lot of stuff. They would have to only put what they want to put. TV politics, let's call it. But here on our radio show, and because the life that I live, I want the guests to feel like let it all out. And we go through information, we dissect it, and we build a common ground, because that's what this is about. Listening to other people's experiences and paranormal unity.
And I just want to jump in and say that, regardless of anyone's opinion about Keith's case, I've actually been one of 3 investigators actually documenting and watching cameras in his house. And, if my word means anything to anyone, and a lot of people know me that I don't play games and I don't say things that aren't true, I've seen some crazy stuff just watching his house and his cameras, and it reminds me similar to your case. So it's going to be an interesting night, and I'm not going to waste any more time. Keith, are you here with us?
Yes, this is Keith Linder. How's everybody doing tonight? Where should I start, or how do we want to go?
Well, let's start with this, Keith. Give us a little bit about yourself, like a short bio, and then give us a background on how this haunting started.
Okay. Well, my background is IT. I'm in the technology field, have been for about 15 years. I live in Seattle, or Seattle suburb. I've been here 10 years, been in the house going on 4 years, native Texan, and I would say the activity in this house started on day one with me and my girlfriend. We got the house in May 1st of 2012. And just like anybody else, when you get a house, the first thing you kind of do is you get the keys and whatnot, and the owner or the previous owner or the landlord sort of gives you the lay of the land and tells you, here are the bedrooms, here are the bathrooms, here's the kitchen and whatnot. So nothing unusual there. But it turned or became unusual almost immediately once he left, because the house is virtually empty and me and my girlfriend are just sitting down, and we hear a kid cough coming from the upper stairs bedroom. And I always tell people, so they can totally understand, by kid cough I mean when we heard the kid cough noise, we both looked at each other and asked each other. It wasn't me telling her I heard a kid cough and she sort of piggyback riding on what I heard. No, we said it at the same time. So the kid cough is real. There was no question about it. But it's a new house. We're new into it. Obviously, there should be nobody in the house but us. And we just shrugged it off.
Okay, so just to rewind quickly, now, before this experience, have you had other encounters in your life, or is this the first time?
This is the first time. First time for me, and the first time for my girlfriend. I've traveled throughout the world, been all over the country, lived a pretty decent, normal life, but never nothing like this. Never nothing remotely close like this. I mean...
Okay, so basically you never had any ghostly experiences up until this one time, right?
Correct.
That's when it started. Okay.
Yeah.
So take us on from that point after the coughing with the child.
So then, you go to the motions of you're actually going to move into the house. And like I said, summer of 2012. So we're moving in, getting settled in. And probably maybe 2 weeks, a little bit more than 2 weeks, just subtle things started happening just out the blue. And by subtle, I mean I noticed or started to notice things that I thought I had packed well were missing. And I would ask my girlfriend, hey, where's this, where's that? She didn't know. And then I would just say, okay, I must have lost it during the moving process, or it'll turn up later. Weeks turned into a few more weeks, and probably by the time we were in the house, a month. You get up in the morning, you go to work, you get ready for that morning commute, that morning traffic. And I got out of bed. I leave about an hour before she does, so I'm out the door before she. And I would go downstairs, and then I would see all the cabinet doors in the kitchen wide open. All the doors, pretty much every door downstairs is wide open. Like something was searching for something and forgot to close every door that it used or every door that it opened. So that was weird. And when I found it or discovered it the first few times, I would call her down and say, hey, Tina, can you come downstairs? She would come downstairs, and I would ask her, hey, did you leave the doors open? Of course, she said no. and then I'm out the door going to work. But it was still weird, and now that's a third weird thing happening. Kid cough, items missing, and now you got the cat. And then we started finding items that neither one of us owned just spread throughout the house. You come home from work and there would be kid toys on the coffee table or kitchen table or the drain board or countertop. We have no kids. No kids have never lived in the house with us. And these are infant toys, but they're out in the wide open. They're not like under a refrigerator or washing machine or anything that you would think that maybe all the previous tenants left this here. These are displayed wide open, and that's probably when I started being very curious as to, okay, this is somebody's game. Obviously, somebody's got keys to the house. They're coming into the house while we're away. We've only been in the house maybe a month or so. Maybe the owner or some kids in the neighborhood are playing a practical joke on us. Okay, haha, I get it. But where do you go from there? I mean, there's really nobody you can question, so you just try to live your life. And I get the security of ADT over to secure the house and the perimeter, so it can prevent intruders from coming in. So I'm already sort of ruling out, through logic terms, any outside source coming in the house while we're gone. Then one night, just a normal weeknight, we're sitting on the couch watching Netflix, like most couples do. And as we're watching a movie on TV, there's this plant that sits right next to the TV in the entertainment center. It's about 4 feet tall. It's an ivory. And it just raises up off the ground. And when it raises up, I mean, it darts up. It doesn't kind of slowly rise. It kind of shoots up and just stops maybe about 6 inches, maybe 8 inches or so. And then it just does a 360 in front of both of us. And then it just keels over. And we look at it at the same time because we're sitting side by side. The TV is maybe 4 or 5 feet away from us. And this plant raises up off the ground. You can see the floor underneath it, and it does a 360-degree turn and then keels over. Now, that was weird. That was the point where we finally acknowledged that, okay, this is beyond a kid prank. This is beyond neighbors getting their kicks. We might not be the only people living here. And by people, I mean we might be the only presence living here.
Well, so what you're saying is, let me just ask you a question. Do you have power lines over the house, or is it in the ground?
Over the side, over the house, yeah.
Okay. Is it directly over the house, the lines? Like those big power lines?
A few of them, they kind of follow the fence line. There may be a wire or two that kind of goes diagonally. I would have to double check or look to see, but they're primarily in the backyard. The lines, the neighborhood that I'm in, the lines run behind the houses. Behind my house is a creek, a little watershed, and then the other side of that is another neighborhood. So you got the telephone poles behind the houses, and the lines are running diagonally down the street, the length of the street.
So there was enough energy from a spirit to lift something in the house.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Now, when you actually seen that, did you feel anything? Did you feel oppression or any negative energy or coldness in the air?
No, there was no. There was no drastic change in room temperature. It happened rather fast. It happened rather fast, and it was over very fast. Okay, as soon as it happened, it was almost over. But it happened long enough to where, you saw it. You had to acknowledge it. You had to make a mental note, and we talked about it the rest of the night. There was no more movie watching after that.
Well, that's obvious. I mean, you get a little spooked at that point. So continue from that point on. This is really interesting.
Yeah, so that killed over, and like I said, we talked about it. Probably was the main conversation going to bed, and then it was interesting. At that time, we're still thinking, I'm thinking, okay, I heard a kid cough when we first moved in. The plant killed over. At best, we got a kid-friendly ghost that likes to do, pranks or whatnot. Because we got the kid toys and da 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 da. Okay, I get it. So at that phase, I'm thinking that's the worst it could ever get. What do I do with it? I'll research it later. I don't know. Days or nights after that, I guess after we made that mental acknowledgement or verbal acknowledgement, I should say, things start happening daily after that. It was no more, several few days or a few days in between. Things start really ratcheting up a bit, and now we come home. We're having dinners after 7 p.m., after 8 p.m. Then the bangs start. And when I mean bangs, I mean there's no lead up, there's no build up. It's just boom, 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 boom. And the whole house shakes. Third, you try to follow the bang. Because by the time you hear the bang, you raise up and go look for it, it stops. And now you're left guessing, okay, where did that come from? Is something in the attic? Is something fall loose in the attic? It's not windy outside. It's not a storm. And we're both looking at each other as what's causing that bang. And nights and nights after that, the bangs would last longer each time it would happen. It would go bang, 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 maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes, then bang, bang, bang. Sometimes we're together. Sometimes we're at opposite ends of the house. If I'm in my office or aka man cave or she's watching TV upstairs and I'm downstairs, we can hear the bang and then we meet somewhere halfway trying to find out where the bang is coming from. And that probably was the most unsettling of everything as of yet, the bangs. Because they're so loud, you're thinking a bang that loud can only or should cause some type of foundation damage. I've just been in this house barely 2 months. These bangs are probably leaving some structural damage that I can't see. I'm climbing into the attic. I'm looking for floor beams. I'm looking for anything that's going to say that's the source of your bang. Of course, I don't find anything. So after the bangs, then you will start getting things happening. Everything that happened before are now happening together. Bang, bang, bang. You go to bed, wake up, all cabinet doors are open. Bang, bang, bang. Another night, you're doing dishes, you turn around, another plant goes flying or a plant falls down. Or you turn around, your front door is open. Bang, bang, bang. Objects get thrown. Now, one night, because we're still relatively new to the house, and like most people, we have a housewarming party. So we invite friends over, and it's a weekend, and we have our closest friends over, and halfway through the night, the plant that's sitting in one corner of our den, it's about 5 of us still in the house. Everybody else has left. It's late in the evening. And a plant sitting in a corner of a room just raises up and goes flying across everybody's peripheral vision. Everybody's. And it flies across and it hits the wall and shatters and dirt goes everywhere. And I remember this night because Tina's best friend, when her mother-in-law was in town, and she was in town from LA, and she saw the plant fly. We all saw the plant fly. And everybody had to do their own, I guess, deductive reasoning. Okay, that's not normal. Nobody's over there. So by then, we had to come out and confess and say, yeah, we think our house is haunted. Because we didn't tell anybody. You don't really how to tell your friends that your house is haunted. But by then, the cat was out the bag. And everybody's looking at each other. And at that phase, our friends thought it was kind of neat or cool or whatever, so they pulled out their iPhones, their cell phones, and they're like, oh, you got a spirit. You got a spirit who won't go into the light. Let's go check it out. Let's go chase it. And me and Tina were hesitant, but they went around and tried to, do their own fact-finding or troubleshooting. But when they held their phones up, to the wall to where the plant was thrown and tried talking to it. I think Tina's friend tried to talk to the wall and start asking questions. The bangs got louder. And when the bangs went bang, 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 that's when I asked her to stop. I said, hey, I don't think it likes you or us talking to it. Let's just kind of leave it alone. And they were like, well, we're going to go where her mom, Tina's best friend's mom said, well, let's go into the other room. And she's much older than us. And she said, let's all sit down and pray. We're going to pray for this spirit to find its home, to find its peace, to find its light. And we left the living room and the kitchen area. Karissa knows how my house layout is. There's a den by the front door. So we went to the opposite room. And we now are blinded by, we can't see the kitchen or the living room. We're by the front door. And we're sitting on the couch, and we all say a prayer. We all hold hands. I think we even did so much as lit a candle. And we read from Psalms. We said the Lord's Prayer. This took about maybe 7-10 minutes. And when everybody got done, we hugged each other. Tina's best friend's mom said, okay, this is for you guys' protection, and this is for the house. When we left the den where we were sitting down praying and walked back into the living room and the kitchen, which are connected, it's an open area. When we walked and turned that corner, every cabinet door and every closet door was wide open. I mean, wider than ever before. And everybody looked at each other, their mouth dropped open. And I thought to myself then, this is nowhere near over. This is nowhere near. So then it's time for me, while I'm at work, to get on the internet and look for what is this? What's causing this? Previous tenants I'm looking for. History of the land I'm trying to look for any clue that's going to kind of help me help Tina try to figure out, okay, what's the end game here, or what's going on. But 2012, the summer of 2012, when things started escalating, like I said, things are now being thrown, whether I'm in my office or Tina's in the bedroom. While we're sleeping, everybody pretty much sleeps with their bedroom door open. It's just an instinct. But we're now being awakened at night because something comes by the door and slams the door. And then when you're sleeping, something slams your door. Of course, you jump up. And then you go to the door and you open it. Obviously, nobody's there. But that happened so much, we propped the door open, or had to prop the door open with pillows. And then now you're just in your, like I said, you're being haunted now because you've acknowledged, it's acknowledged you. It's kind of broke the seal, if you will. In my experience, it seems like once it reaches a point where you're acknowledging it, it can really sort of take the gloves off. And this is where it gets to where it wants to start having a little bit of fun. And by fun, I mean it's going to start hiding my car keys. It's going to start turning the lights off. It's starting to have us second guess each other, because now Tina is doing laundry and I could be downstairs and Tina is like, huh, Keith, did you say something? And I'm like, no. What are you talking about? And she said, I just heard you say my name like you was in the office. And I come up, I'm not in the office, I'm downstairs. Or vice versa. I could be upstairs in my office, Tina's downstairs cooking, and I hear Tina in the next room. I hear Tina talking to me or saying something to me in passing, and I respond, but nothing responds back. So I walk out of my office saying, hey, didn't you just say something to me? And then I hear her, Tina's in the kitchen. And then I go, hey, did you say something? Were you upstairs? No, I wasn't upstairs. So that whole cat and mouse thing starts happening. And like I said, it becomes unnerving to the point to where to stop. So what I did, being that I'm the man of the house, is I started asking friends and family, hey, what are some of the things we can do to maybe I don't know, make the spirit leave or quiet down. And some of the first things people suggested was, well, have you had the house blessed? Have you had, or have you tried to sage the house? Now, the saging story probably is one of the most, how can I say, haunting of all the activities in the house, because let me tell you, the saging, or the first time we saged in the house, by then it was probably July, August of 2012. And my coworker said, well, go buy some white sage. And she gave me some instructions she printed off the internet. She said, I want you to sage the house from top to bottom. And I never saged before. I didn't know what saging was. I didn't know what a sage stick was or is. But I bought it and I went home. Tina was out of town. Tina was in Vegas on business. And I said, well, I can sage. It's only me here. Let me take advantage of only me being in the house, and let me just try to sage, and we'll just go from there. So I come home with the sage, and I start off in the master bedroom. I've never saged before, so it's taken me a while to just even light the stick. And when I'm lighting the stick, I'm setting off fire alarms because the stick is just in flames. But I finally get the hang of it, and then I'm saging, master bedroom, hallway, office, and the other bedrooms. We're probably halfway in doing that. Something rushes, and by rushing past me, I mean footsteps in the hallway, but the footsteps are very thunderous. It's like, I'm a big guy, so it's like me running through the house. And it runs past my master bedroom door, darts down the stairs. I'm standing at the landing of the stairs on the second floor, and my front door opens. Now, I know my front door is open because, like I said, we got ADT security, and every time my door is open, it says front door open, or any door, any window in the house. So my door opens, and the ADT alarm says front door open, but there's nobody at the door. And then the door opens wide and slams, like, shoom. And then the house rattles or shakes or whatever. And I'm left not knowing what to do with that or what I've just seen. Like, open the front door, slammed it shut, and I'm holding this sage stick. Should I continue? Was that a mission accomplished thing? Maybe the sage thing worked. So I finished saging upstairs and downstairs, and that night, probably about 9 o'clock before going to bed, I took a Bible out. Another coworker said, well, I want you to open the Bible, and I want you to open up the Psalms, and I just want you to leave the Bible on the table and just go to bed. He said, put the Bible there and you go to bed. And that's what I did. Well, when I went to bed, the last thing I looked going upstairs, the Bible was on the den downstairs. The last thing I looked downstairs was at that Bible. I looked at it one time before going into my bedroom and going to sleep. And when I woke up the next morning, interestingly enough, I don't know what made me decide to get up out of bed, just a normal routine, but when I got up out of bed, I immediately walked outside my door because the house still had that sage smell, even in the morning. And I looked, and the Bible was gone. And it was the morning, Tina, wasn't there. I walked down, and I didn't look too long or try to look around the house for the Bible, for the main fact of it's only me in the house. So I didn't have to put a big search party out on where my Bible was. The Bible was the last thing I saw before going to bed. When I went to bed, the house was armed. When I got up, I unarmed the house. The Bible was gone. I think I got to work, and then I called Tina and said, hey, I put a Bible on your lampstand, and that Bible is now gone. Now, when you think about objects missing and the length of time they go missing, this Bible, and like I said, Ghost Adventures covered it in a reenactment on their show, whereas a year and a half had passed before that Bible resurfaced. Now, the Bible was taken in summer or late summer, early fall of 2012. The Bible did not return again until late spring of 2014. Now, I'm going to fast forward because I want to talk about when the Bible returned of 2014, because in 2014 or in between, the activity did die down for majority of 2013. It did die down. But around loud bangs returned. And when the loud bangs returned, ever since that day when the bangs started up again, the activity intensified. I mean, if you want to put it on a scale of 1 to 10, just say 10 as far as intensity. And by intensity, I mean every day, 7 days of the week, light fixtures are exploding. Doors are being taken off their hinges. Bar stools are being thrown. Armoires, credenzas, couches and love seats are being turned upside down. This is early 2014. Okay, 2013 was somewhat quiet in comparison, but not total. So what I did when the activity reached this much of a, and I'm just going to say it was somewhat of a dangerous level, that was the first time I called a paranormal team. Up until then, most wouldn't respond. Most wanted, hey, you got to give me more, you got to show me more. But the activity had reached such a height that one Sunday, me and Tina were both just going through the directory online on the internet or wherever, just calling paranormal investigators from here all the way to Utah. The house was being attacked while we were on the phone with paranormal teams. We went to so many website links that were broken, phone numbers disconnected, to finally we found one team, and Karissa interviewed her last summer, Jennifer from No Bull Paranormal Team. They answered their phone, and I told them my house is being attacked. And they came over about 2 hours later, and they did about 11 hours worth of investigation. Ghost Adventures makes it look and seem like it was 5 minutes. They were here 11 hours, and they had so much activity while they were here. The part where the sage stick lit itself while Jennifer was holding it is true. All their equipment died when they walked through the door. When they walked through the door, they said the house was humming. Me and Tina didn't even know the house was humming because we had been inside so long that we would have to step out and step back into the house to hear the humming. And it was a hum. It wasn't a taper off hum. It was a consistent hum. So this is Sunday, 2014, and they did the cameras routine. They did the EMF and all that, and they got data. And then the last thing, Jennifer, before the cleansing, she smudged, she cleansed. She's Native American. She's part shaman, and she did all the above. And she said, okay, this should quiet your house. Call us and let us know if anything else happens. Okay? We go to bed. We're exhausted. Prior to them coming there, the house was under attack. While they were there, it was somewhat under attack. When she smudged, it was somewhat quiet. About midnight, we went to bed. And about 1:34 that same night or the next morning, the fire alarm goes off. And when the fire alarm goes off, our bedroom door is closed because we close it because we're so used to whatever shutting it. We just really close the door now. We don't even put a pillow in the door. Well, after 1:30, the fire alarm goes off, and we dart up or raise up out of the bed, me first. And when you're tired and it's late at night and you hear a fire alarm, just like anybody, your instinct takes over because you're not really thinking ghosts. I don't want people listening to this thinking we're thinking ghosts all the time. No, fire alarms are fire alarms, okay? This is a new house. Obviously something in this house has caused the fire alarm to go off. Maybe it's a kitchen. Maybe we left an iron on, a pot on, or a coffee maker on. Let's just get out the house. I'm not even thinking ghost. Okay? I run to the bedroom door and I swing it open. There's a fire. I don't see smoke yet because the door is closed. And when I open up the master bedroom door, we got a double door. There in the doorway, okay, is the Bible that was taken in 2012. Wide open. It's open. It's not closed. And the pages, it's almost like a campfire. It's like somebody built a campfire in the hallway. The flames are that blazing, okay? The flames are lighting up the hallway. There's no other light on in the house because we were asleep. And the flames are illuminating the hallway. And I'm seeing that this is a book. At that stage, I'm not thinking it's the Bible that's taken. I'm only saying that now because it's after the fact. I see a book on the ground, and I see a book that's on fire. And I said, well, that's a fire I can put out easily if I just pick it up and close it. I'll smother the flames. And that's what I did. As soon as I smothered the flames, I could now see the book cover. And saying, that's the Bible I put on the lampstand over a year ago. Well, when I close the book, I feel a bulge. And I'm like, oh, there's something in it. Okay. So I open up the Bible again. Ashes, pages go flying everywhere, but the fire's out. And there's this wooden cross. Now, 2 weeks before this, I had ordered this cross online off Amazon from Jerusalem. It's a wooden cross that came from Jerusalem. I think from the River Jordan. And I put it above our bed. It was positioned above our bed. And when I'm looking at this cross, it's scorched. And I realized, wait a minute. This cross was over our bed, which we both saw. I knew it was there when I went to sleep. But now the cross is in the Bible. The Bible was set on fire. So now they're both burnt. So this entity took the cross above our heads while we were asleep, put it in the Bible, I don't know in the order, but set the Bible on fire, and now I got my Bible back, but my Bible is scorched. And that was the night the first paranormal team came over, Jennifer, and the look on my face and the look on Tina's face, you have to understand, a burning Bible has all kind of negative connotations. Some, based on, urban legends, stereotype. Burning Bible is just not good. When you think about it, mentally, especially in the middle of the night. Then you want to add a burning cross to the mixture. Okay. Then you want to add, you're burning Bibles and books into my hallway. Okay, where is this going? What are we actually at war with? Because up until now, we still don't know what we're at war with. Okay? This probably makes us 100% sure we're not dealing with a friendly ghost. Okay? So, we didn't go back to sleep that night. We had to clean up the hallway. I think I put the Bible in my office. No, I put it in a Ziploc bag. And, the Bible and the cross in a Ziploc bag. And I called Jennifer and her paranormal team the next morning. I got to work. She was the first person I called. I called her that night, but nobody answered. When I told her what had happened and the cross, she was dumbfounded as we were. She said, and I can almost quote her, I've never seen or never heard that before. And I've done this for years and years. And I said, well, what do we do? And she says, you guys need to move. And that's what she said. She said, I don't know where to go with this.
Wow. And that was just everything you're saying besides the burning Bibles. I've never experienced that, but a lot of the things you were saying are very similar to what I went through and dealt with on the Horsefly case. And, you know, I just had to jump in and back up a lot of what you're saying is stuff that I've experienced, the opening of doors, you know, the shadows, the corner of your eyes, things like that. And it's really how the demonic target you, the religious items, you know, I actually can relate to that. I had a cross blessed by the Pope over my bed. And after I had the deliverance done on myself, and at Phil's, my cross actually went missing. The thumbtack was still in the wall. I still have not found it to this day. Yep. Same with St. Benedict medal. So I've kind of been through similar things as you have when dealing with the Horsefly case, which is why I really wanted you to get on the show to talk to Phil, and I did not mean to cut you off. I just want to back up a lot of what you're saying. Very similar and very heard of in demonic or negative hauntings, and you can continue from there.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna jump in and say this, that Keith, you speak with sincerity, and I'm listening to your words very carefully as you're telling the story. Very believable, and a lot of stuff that you're dealing with, you know, like Karissa says, you know, we're living this haunting. I am anyway, and it's very interesting. You know, it sounds like it started off like a poltergeist. That's where this was starting from, and then it's as if the spirit of the home or the entity, whatever you want to call it, wanted to be recognized, but it seems like it then turned to be very unfriendly and does not like religious items.
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
You know, and you know, going back to the TV show that was at your home, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to make this very clear to everybody, the listener, to everybody out in the paranormal world. Paranormal teams are great. I give them 2 thumbs up. But, here's the but. You cannot do a complete investigation of a person or a home for 1 or 2 days. It cannot be done with full evidence. You can have a whole team go to a home and get absolutely nothing. Does it mean there's no ghost in the house? Of course not. It takes weeks and weeks to really all the evidence between the shadows, the orbs, the EVPs, the videos. It takes a lot of work. So I just want to throw that out there, and that's how I met Karissa and all that, and where this case has gone to, you know, for people to understand how hauntings work. But I want you to continue from that point on, because now it seems like the entity in the home is acting up to an evil way. So go ahead and finish.
Yeah, see, that's an observation I found. I mean, when you armchair quarterback yourself, and like I said, there's always the post-analysis that I've done later on. When it's happening, you don't really have that time, but when the dust settles, you kind of do. And yeah, when we started bringing out the religious objects, because keep in mind, I mean, people, their hearts are in the right place. Friends, family, clergy, and whatnot. Everybody's pretty much going by what they know, what they've tried before. So they're telling us, hey, put the Bibles out on display. Hey, put the cross out. Hey, put this out. Put the holy water. None of this stuff prior to this stuff happening was ever out in the open. I mean, I'm a religious guy, spiritual guy, but I'm not to the point to where this stuff is out in the open. I wear my religion on the inside. But when this stuff started happening, people say, well, put your religious stuff out there in the open. And looking back now and reading from previous other cases and what other people have gone through, poltergeists eat that up, okay? Because now I'm challenging it, but I don't know that. But the poltergeist knows it. So the poltergeist say, oh, you're going to put King James out there. Well, let me show you what I could do with King James. Let me show you what I could do with your wooden cross while you're sleeping, because you got to sleep. I don't have to sleep. So after that, and after what Jennifer told me, yeah, it was really, okay, we need to get more people in here. We need to get clergy in here. And so I started reaching out to the local parishes, you know. I'm naive, I didn't know. And they're asking for more evidence. I'm like, hey, I just had a Bible burn in my house. And their reply, which I think is cynical or just outright wrong, is, well, show me the Bible burning. Send me a video of the ghost burning the Bible and I'll be right over. And I'm like, are you serious? Is that really what you want me to? I mean, I can't control this. But nobody wants to move a muscle without first seeing the video of the ooh and the ah. But the ooh and the ah that I'm trying to give them is getting me and Tina in the house in more trouble, because then I start bringing the cameras in. I did not bring the cameras in to advertise or, put ghosthaunting.com up. I brought the cameras in because nobody would work. You saw Dave's little clip there where you got to show us. It's off camera. We got to see it to believe it. So I started doing that, and now I'm chasing the ghost, and the ghost is chasing me, and it's winning. So after that, the Bible started burning. It started burning all the other Bibles. I would put a Bible out, it would burn it. I put another one out. The ghost like, I can do this for eternity. I put another Bible out, it would burn that one. I would put a cross out, put a cross on the wall. It would take that cross, like you said, Chris, it would hide it. I got so many crosses missing that I'll probably never see again. And you're just really playing that cat and mouse thing. And this thing is just probably watching you, and it's escalating the more things that you do to try to rid it, and it's winning. So I'm becoming more sleep deprived. Tina's becoming more sleep deprived. We're getting antsy at each other because what we're trying to do is not working. And it's taking that negative energy out both of us and throwing it back at us with its supernatural capability. So by mid 2014, after several Bible burnings, and we would both go to work, and like I said, trying to get people in there to help us, trying to get somebody who might know how to render this thing and help us. We don't want to move, but we're locked in this house for 2 years, and I can't go to the landlord and say I want to break a lease because there's a fire in my office. He's gonna look at me like I'm crazy. Like, what? Okay, no, you're gonna pay for that fire in your office, and you're gonna go to jail for it too. So I'm trying to get somebody who does this to vouch to say, no, these guys got a real genuine haunting. It's more complicated than that. What we're gonna do is do some analyzation, and then we'll take it from there. But that's not happening anytime soon. So we would come back home from work, and like the videos that I've shared, like I said, couches would be upside down, tables upside down, things thrown, and you would just come home and clean up a mess. It's like a tornado just went through your house while you were away. Same thing happens when you're there. We're in the office or the room watching TV, a light goes off. Sometimes the light will go off. The light flickering off and on would be a precursor for something about to happen. Okay? And one night, the activity was just so bad. We were so tired. I was tired. And I said, Tina, I need for you to do me a favor. Can you sage tonight? We'll do some prayers. Let's just tell us to do, and maybe somewhere something will give. So she saged, and we went to bed. And the next morning, she left before me. I went to go take a shower. And this is about the poster burning. And I was in the shower, and as soon as I stepped out the shower, the fire alarm goes off again. And I'm running out the shower, fire alarm's going off. Tina's probably been gone maybe 3 minutes at best. And as I'm running into the hallway, the same scenario of before, of something running from upstairs to downstairs to out the front door, is being replayed all over again. Okay? And I give chase, but when I get to the front door, after it slams it, I got the bath towel wrapped around me, and I'm dripping wet. I can't open the front door. The front door is like it's cement shut. And once again, I'm a big guy. Something just opened in that door 2 minutes before me getting there. The door is unlocked, and as I'm trying to open up the door, I got the knob twisted, so I know the latch is inside, and I'm trying to open the door. It's like a weight. It must have been 2 elephants propped up against that door. As I'm pulling the door toward me, it's like a force pulling it the opposite way. And the alarm's going off, and right then and there, I said, you know what, Keith, this isn't an attack. You're being attacked. This is not the house being attacked. You're being attacked. Okay? So I run back upstairs and look for the fire. And the smoke is coming out of my office. And when I turn the corner and walk into my office, that's where I can see the poster on fire. Okay, it's on fire, source similar to the Bible. So I take my towel, I douse the fire, and then after I douse the fire, I run back downstairs to try to open up that door again because the house at that time is filled with smoke. Okay, and that door still wouldn't open. So then I ran to the garage door and hit the auto garage door opener just to know that, okay, you're not completely trapped in the house. You have a exit if you need to take one, but the fire alarm is still going on. You might have another fire. So I went quickly to every room to do a quick look-see to see if the, number one, if the entity had started multiple fires or it was just starting fires as I would put one out. But it was only one fire. That was the poster. I ran back downstairs. I dialed 911, or I called the fire department. And then after I got off the phone with them, I called Tina. Now, when I called the fire department, I called the fire department from my landline. Okay? And I'm on the phone with the 911 operator. And the 911 operator is telling me, because I'm saying, hey, I got a fire in my house. I don't know where. Can you send some trucks over here? And she's asking, your name, da-da-da-da-da. And she said, sir, I can't find your address. And I'm like, what do you mean you can't find my address? I'm calling from a landline. This is my address. And as I'm trying to give her my address verbally, there's interference all on the phone. The interference only comes in when I blurt out my address. Okay? We would talk, and I'm like, did you get that? She said, no, sir, I'm not getting that. And I'm getting frustrated because I'm like, hey, I know telecommunications. I know how the system works. A landline, when I call 911, my address and all that comes up on your screen. But she's like, I'm not getting it, sir. And there's interference when I say, hey, come here. This is where I live. Send somebody over here. It took us maybe about 4 or 5 tries before it finally worked. And she said, okay, I got you. They're on their way. And within minutes, they showed up. Tina showed up immediately after them. They inspected the poster. They looked at all the outlets in my office. The fire captain went to the garage to look at the fuse because he was like, okay, well, good job here, sir. You put the fire out. You got a little bit of smoke, but nothing really crazy going on. But he was like, we don't see where the fire or what caused the fire. You got a poster here. We see you got some drippage. You got some melted wax. We don't know what's going on here. So they looked around and they said, well, did you have a short? Was there a short anywhere? Any spark or anything? And I'm just as clueless as them. His captain comes back from the garage and says, no, all his fuses are fine. We don't know what caused this fire. And some of the things I tell, the cynic skeptic is, this is an expensive home. This is an expensive property. These are expensive things, and nobody's starting fires at will in a house and calling fire departments, unless they want to be carted away in handcuffs or in a paddy wagon. All right, and they could have done either or. Okay, but at that stage, we had got so tired of being told no by the local parish. We went down to the local parish and sat in their office for an hour, maybe more, because when we got there, the receptionist like, well, the priest is busy, the father is busy. Keep in mind, this is the same priest we've been sending videos and clips and pictures to for over a year. Leaving voicemails, and they would tell us they would get back to us. And at that time, we were just spent. And we're like, we're not leaving this office until the priest talks to us. And we waited an hour, and all his other visitors would come and go, and finally he comes out, and he sees us. Tina's distraught. She's crying. I got smoke and debris all over me. We're shaking like a leaf. And we tell our story, and then we got his attention. Then he says, okay, let me call my bishop. Let me get some phone calls going, and let's try to take care of this. This is a year and a half. This is midsummer 2014. We started calling the priest late 2012. Okay, when stuff was just, compared to this, just small. Okay, and even then, it was still just to have him come over. It was always, a hassle just to get him to come over. But people were just really, I don't know whether it's just these people are crazy, but the activity, the activity is not going to stop whether the priest or a paranormal investigator wants to get involved or not. It's not going to do that. So, yeah. After that, the other things that were just happening, just repetitious. Um, Things thrown, pushing, lights, heavy objects thrown. The objects don't hit you directly, but the objects come within close proximity. I mean, I could tell you, I've been asleep, and a whiff goes by your forehead, or goes by your chin, or by your nose, and there's a bang. And you turn on the lights, and it's a vase. And the vase misses you by inches, by centimeters, leaves a dent in the wall. Some items get lodged in the wall because they travel as if they were like bullets. They don't bounce off a wall; they just get stuck in the canvas of the wall, and you're really just at the point of spinning your wheels, and you're trying everything that everybody tells you. Some teams are qualified, some teams are not qualified. The entity doesn't really care, so you're just really having a hard time, trying to do things to where the point to where, okay, is it ever going to stop? Is it ever going to just be to the point to where the house is somewhat livable? So that's what we were dealing with for a majority of 2014.
Well, I mean, I'm kind of speechless what you're going through, what I lived through. Where are you today with this whole thing? You've had a team there, you've did different measures. Where does your life stand today with this poltergeist or demon?
That's a good question. Right now,
Whatever you want to call it.
right now there's a lull, and after the deal was when Ghost Adventures came in. I got to insert them now because that's going to help answer your question. Was when they came in, so much stuff had happened, so much stuff had been documented by me that I presented it to the landlord, the house owner, and even his response to all the information I gave him was in itself interesting because if I was an owner and you came with me with a folder with all this info, I don't know what I would think or what my reaction would be, but he was calm and he was like, yeah, bring Ghost Adventures on. I'm going to let you quarterback it. It sounds like you just got an angry spirit running around the house. After he said that, to really go back and try to analyze, he knows. That's why he doesn't live here. But in getting the contact, or finally getting in contact with the previous tenants of the house, and bringing all that information to Ghost Adventures, because my idea of what was supposed to happen was we come and investigate this, but you guys investigate this long term. This is like you said, this is not a day thing. It's not a 2-day. You come in and investigate it long term, and whatever is satisfactory to me is satisfactory to the homeowner, and then we're out of here. But I don't want to leave the house in the condition to where we found it, because there's been 5 families in this house. This house is 10 years old. We're the longest tenants in the house. Yeah, it's a young house. It's a young neighborhood. Nobody's lived in this house more than 2 years. 2 previous tenants, which was not covered in the show, had their own experiences in the house. Okay? The tenant that had a experience similar to mine, her experience was over 8 years ago. So this thing has been relatively going on for quite some time. But you would never have known that by watching the episode. But now, with the activity died down, and I'm told these things go in cycles. Okay? And now with it died down, with Karissa and the 2 other individuals that were investigating the house this last summer, it's finally caught the attention of I guess people who do this, like you mentioned, full time but thoroughly, scientific, paranormal, poltergeist organizations in the UK and in the US, they see this as extremely rare, extremely unusual, but at the same time, they find it very interesting and unique to where they have to capture the data because they've never seen anything like this before. And when they come in and do what they do, and then, like I said, eventually, um, yeah, this will probably be my last year or year and a half within the house.
Okay, so wait, I want to stop you there. Let me ask you a couple of questions. Have you personally been physically attacked?
Yes.
How?
Objects thrown at me, pushing, the poking and the prodding while sleeping, sheets yanked off me while sleeping. I've been in the bed with Tina by myself, pulled down a little bit. I'm talking about, whoa, there's no sheets over us. You know, it's a big draft all of a sudden. There was a accident. I can't prove it, but in 2013, the day after New Year's, I fell down the stairs of my house and tore my right patella tendon. I was coming down for a glass of water refill. Tina was cooking in the kitchen, and the top step, I bit the dust and slid all the way down and tore my patella tendon. This was 2013. At that time, we ruled it off or shrugged it off because the activity had died down. But I told Tina, I think this thing is always here, even when there's no activity. These things are always here. The fall itself was weird because, I mean, it was just a weird fall. But I didn't feel.
I want to jump in there really quick because in 2005, I had an old Victorian home, and I was holding my kid was a baby at the time. I was walking down the steep stairs, because that's how they were made back in 100 years ago. And I felt something run into me from the top stairs, and I went straight down. I missed every single step, and then I hit the bottom.
That's exactly what I did. I didn't touch. I missed every step. It was over before it began.
Yep, same thing with me. And then I wound up in the hospital with broken everything. So that's interesting, the stairs. And what's more interesting is that my neighbor, they came to the home a week later. They're like, well, it couldn't be a ghost and all that. Now, this is 2005.
Uh-huh.
And then their son in their home falls down the stairs and breaks his knee the same way I broke my knee.
Yeah.
So it's as if, entities have their mark, and if you try to debunk them or make fun of them, they'll get you on their clock. Now, let me ask you this. Have you had any marks on your body, like injuries, scratches?
Not me. Tina has. Tina got scratched February of this year. Now, what's also interesting is, we watched the show Ghost Adventures this episode. We didn't want to watch it in our house. It was like, that would just kind of be really asking for it, watching it in the house. So we got a hotel downtown Seattle, and our best of friends, our friends who have been with us since day one, and we spent the night in a hotel downtown Seattle. And that whole day was weird. Tina lost her car keys right before we were about to go. But we're in the hotel, and her friend gets locked in the bathroom. But does not have for dinner, and her friend is locked in there for about 10 minutes. We're playing with the door, trying to jig it, and the door won't open. It finally gave way on its own, if that's weird. Also, my best friend that night, he spent the night there on the couch. The next morning, he's knocking on our bedroom door in the hotel. He's like, "Hey, dude." And I go to the door, Tina's asleep, and I look at him. His shirt's got dotted blood all over it. Okay? And he's got a razor scratch. Like somebody took them old-fashioned razors like my dad used to have, and just did a line over the bridge of his nose. Okay? Like he was in a boxing and somebody got him good on the nose and the skin just cut. It was just a thin red line. And he did not know it. He woke up with it. The blood was dry on his shirt. And he's like, hey, I don't know, I must have slept hard or scratched myself while I was asleep. And I knew what had happened. I knew the door not opening, him being scratched, Tina's car keys missing prior to, because what I guess the night we had to do the lockdown and they put us in a hotel and Zach and them stayed here and did their lockdown. We had activity in the hotel room as well. The lights.
Okay, so wait, stop right there. Stop it right there. You had activity in the hotel room. So now I'm going back to my experience. It's following you.
Yeah, it followed us twice.
I had asked a question to paranormal teams that came to my home that could the activity happen at two places
Exactly.
at the same time?
Exactly.
And the answer was yes.
Exactly.
That because there's no time and there's no space, these entities could do multiple things. Now, I want to jump into this question before I forget. Have you had night tremors or severe nightmares where you know that?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
Can you describe it?
I think I told Karissa, she knows some of the nightmares I tell her because those the ones I'm still trying to figure out. The ones I have, a lot of them, I mean, they dive deep, deep, dark into my childhood. I mean, it's almost like replay. It's almost like you're actually there, okay? And every character in your dream or your nightmare, I should say, is the entity, okay? I have a twin brother. I have a younger brother, a younger sister. They're all in my dream. But guess what? The entity is playing all of them, okay? Real yanked or dragged in the dream, not physically, but in the dream. The dreams are so, how can I say, just so psychedelic, so endless. Sometimes you're being chased. I never had a dream of being smothered, but severely watched, severely observed, backed into a corner, a lot of depth, a lot of density, and it's just black. It's just black and it's just dark red. That's the surroundings. And sometimes the dream is so bad, it wakes you up. Okay? I've woken up and I've been like, whoa, I'm glad I was dreaming. I thought I was dead. That was a close call. That has happened. That's been primarily all of 2014. What's also interesting, Phil, is in 2012, Tina was having those dreams. And hers abruptly stopped, and then mine abruptly began. Because in 2012, and I didn't know at the time, because at that time, I'm not equating the events in our home is going to follow us to our bed, let alone our dreams. My IQ in the paranormal was relatively zero. And she would wake up in these dreams, and she would be shaking, or I would wake up, and she would be shaking and trembling. So I would nudge her on the shoulder and say, hey, you're having a bad dream. Hey. And she wouldn't wake up. I'm like, hey, wake up, wake up. She would be so in it, okay? To finally, when she wakes up, she's like, whoa. I got her hands and arms go everywhere. And then when I would try to question her, hey, what was that dream about? That was pretty intense. You want to talk about it? She couldn't make heads or tails out of it. And then early 2014, after Phil, my leg injury, I would say these dreams started after my knee injury because I was laid up in the house for 3 months while I healed. Tina went to work every day, and I was at home, restricted to the bedroom upstairs.
That same thing happened to me. Let me ask you this. Have you ever had sleep paralysis?
I woke up grasping for air. I woke up like extremely cold, like I was falling asleep on an iceberg. One night it was a Sunday night, I woke up and every cover was off me, but the covers were on her. But I was severely cold. I was trembling. I mean, I was cold like I just took a dive in the pool and went and sat in the freezer.
Okay, let me ask you this question. Have you ever, truthfully now, have you ever played with the Ouija board?
No, never have, no.
Have you ever played the...
Never.
What's your religion?
Baptist.
And has anybody else in your family history had any kind of ghostly things, poltergeist, that you like brothers, sisters, father, mother from the past?
No, not to my knowledge. No. No, we're close
Where were
to.
you born?
Huh?
Where were you born?
69.
Where?
Oh, Austin, Texas.
You know, listening to your story, I could tell your sincerity. You know, you're expressing what you're going through, and there's a lot of similarities
Yeah.
to the life that I live. And, you know, when you say about the keys disappearing, you know, sometimes you think it's your mind, your subconscious mind, you're going crazy. When I had a psychic here, and she had explained to me that because everything is energy, even material things are energy, that the spirits can make that happen, make things disappear, which I really found hard to understand. I says, well, can my car disappear? But obviously, not a car, but small things, as if when an entity is in a home, they can make things happen to where you think you're losing your mind. Now,
Exactly.
when you said about that Bible, I had a very similar experience where it disappeared for a very long time and then winds up back in the same place 6-7 months later. So those things, you know, it's called mind manipulation, where these entities can play tricks on us, and they can do things that, quite frankly, we can't even comprehend.
Exactly.
So I'm buying your story. I want you to know that. And to the listener, I'm buying his story because I live a lot of similarities to his story, and I don't care what ghost team comes there and tries to debunk, because you know what? In my book, if a ghost team is not there for a week or more, forget about it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Till you do a full investigation thoroughly, and I even question that investigation to my knowledge, that's when you have complete evidence. Up until that point, most of it is, I seen this, I felt that, it could be psychosomatic, but until they really capture everything that you're feeling, they really don't understand the life that you're living. Now, yesterday, has anything happened?
Yeah, there was a teleport last night. I just haven't teleported in a while. I was upstairs doing laundry, going from room to room, and coming. I left my bedroom to go into the guest bathroom, and when I came out of the guest bathroom to go back into the master bedroom, in the doorway was the bath towel in the doorway. I didn't have any towels in my hand. I'm in the house by myself. Nothing's around me, but I'm used to that. I can now um, tell when. Okay, it put that there. Okay, don't know why. Probably never will, but it put that there. The things that are always constant in this house, and Karissa have heard and have seen, are the constant footsteps, the constant pacing back and forth. That's 24/7. There's knocking and tapping of the walls, but the pacing back and forth, and then the bed shake. The bed shakes, vibrates. If I'm watching football on the couch and fall asleep, couch shakes and vibrates. Yeah, those things. But the teleporter or aport, whatever they call it, that hasn't happened in a while. I have so many things missing, Phil. I mean, a lot of stuff missing. Wallets, keys, 2 sets of wallets, ID, driver's license, social security card, 2 hard drives, cameras, video cams, necklace. Tina's got jewelry, iPad, shoes missing, pants missing, belts missing, silverware, my favorite coffee cup missing. So many things that are missing. Oh, 2 Bibles are still missing. A cross is missing. A Virgin Mary statue is missing. Holy water is missing. Holy water is missing.
Wow. And, you know, I just want to interrupt for a second, and I want you to tell the listeners what you told me about your friend that lives in Hawaii.
Yeah. Okay. So now we can talk about how you was mentioning earlier, for how these things have a potential to not only follow you, but my attorney, she's a lawyer, and she reviewed all the documentation that I had to sign when I bring paranormal teams in, and Ghost Adventures and all that. So, but she has a little bit of naivete. So she came to the house when all the stuff was starting, and she walked in very nonchalant, very cavalier, and she started poking fun at the entity. Okay, and I was kind of like, hey, you shouldn't do that. It's not kind of good. You don't want to go there. You don't know what's going on in this house. So she was like, oh no, it's just probably Casper or whatever. So she started making fun of it or whatever. And then she wanted to see the spots where the most dangerous activity happened. And she went up through the house and then started looking at the areas where the items were burnt and touched the walls, touched the rail on the stairway, making fun, or not taking it seriously, I should say. Well, that same day, she had to go to the airport. Right? She left my house and said, "Okay, I'm going back to Hawaii. I'll get started on this stuff. It looks like you're good." And she got to the airport, and I saw her on her Facebook post. She didn't even text me because she didn't know. She couldn't put two and two together. I did. She's like, "Hey, I'm at the SeaTac airport, and I lost my passport." Now, she was going from my house to the airport, so her passport was on her person. Okay. She gets to the airport and can't leave because that's her ID. She said, "This is my only ID. I'm going to have to delay my flight." Okay. Well, you fast forward about 2 months. She travels a lot. She's an international attorney. She travels a lot. And she would start coming back home after being away on business travel. And her neighbors, she stays in a townhome in Honolulu. And her neighbors would see her coming home. And they were like, "Hey, we didn't know you were gone." She's like, "Yeah, I've been gone for weeks." And they're like, "No, you haven't." She's like, "Yeah, I have." And they're like, "No, we've been hearing music and TVs and parties in your house for days and weeks." And she's like, "Really?" But she's shrugging it off. She's like, "Okay, that's weird." And she's just going about her business. A few weeks after that, now she's living in the home. And one night she's blowing up my phone. She's like, blowing up my phone. I answer and say, "Hey, what's going on?" And she's like, "Hey, I just going through my house cleaning and doing normal stuff, and every picture in my hallway is upside down. What does that mean?" And I told her the truth. I'm like, "You probably it might have followed you, okay?" And I said, and I was like, "You sure you didn't mess with the photos? Da 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 da, earthquake or whatever." And she's like, "No, every photo is upside down." And I said, "Well, okay." She would go to bed, call me back, said, "I'm hearing noises." One night she called me, she said, "The clothes hangers in my closet are flying out, one by one." These are coat hangers. Now, I ain't never had that. I ain't never had coat hangers fly out of my closet. But this is what's happening to her in Honolulu. Okay, so she got a new job in San Francisco. And now she has two homes, one in Honolulu, and now she has a home in San Francisco. The same activity or similar activity is happening in San Francisco. Almost a year ago from Christmas, and she was wrapping them up, and she would put them on her bed, and turn her back to her Christmas gifts, and wrap the rest on her desk. And I'm on the phone with her, and she turns around, and she says, there were 3 packages here on this bed. Now there are just 2. Okay? So even now, she's having her own weird things in both houses. In both houses. Whichever one she's in, she's trying to sell the one in Honolulu now. But she's having... they're somewhat different because it's only her and her children. She has joint custody, so the kids are with her half the time and half with the dad. But, yeah. So, 2 places at one time, 3 places at one time. I've had light issues in my house. And she's had light issues in her house go off at the same time.
And I do want to cut in right now for the listeners listening that happens to Philip and I a lot from his house and my house. Is the same activity at the same time will be going on in both locations. And
Yep.
there's been many of times that I've called him and I'm like telling him what's going on in my house, and he's telling me about 10 minutes ago the same thing was going on in his house. So that does happen a lot, and it's very common to be followed by entities. It's a lot more common than you think. And Phil and I have actually done an experiment where we had one day a team go to his house, and this is going to be on TV in late November, and another day come to my farmhouse, and they did the same. They did the same investigations, and they got the same activity in both homes.
See?
So it is very possible for spirits to be in more than one place. So for the listener listening, and for Keith, I just want you to know that I fully believe your story, and of course I do. I mean, I've been watching the cameras. I've seen some things that I can't explain, and I'm really looking forward to getting out there and hopefully documenting and, presenting evidence for everyone that is listening and everyone else as well.
Yeah, and that's the interesting part. Like I said, what y'all did this past summer with the constant observation. I mean, we almost had the house under surveillance 24/7. Because
Yes.
I would go out of town and leave the cameras open for you guys. I would be at work, and that's what I sort of. I mean, I'm an IT project man. I manage projects, okay? And the thing I do is I get the subject matter experts, the people that know what they're doing, and to my house. You want to do whatever you do to get the job done. I'm cool with that, and that's what y'all did because I don't have to fake it. I know y'all gonna see things, and like you said, y'all saw things, y'all saw movement, y'all
Yes,
saw
we did a lot
apparitions,
of things.
and remember all the technical difficulties we were having, and the networks were
Yep.
getting all screwed up, and Comcast is like, we don't know what's going on with your house, dude. We're
Well,
like, it's just
I remember the one night, Keith, the camera literally in the kitchen was going in and out as if someone
cameras
was sitting
moving
there
by themselves.
playing with it.
Yeah, all that stuff, cameras moving on their own, nobody's close to
Screaming.
it.
We've heard screams come. We've gotten EVPs coming from your house. I actually, for the listener, was able to, the first night I watched his house, I was able to kind of draw the entities to my house, if that makes sense to any listeners, and I was able to get EVPs and stuff that matched up with what Keith was saying before I even knew anything about Keith.
Yeah.
And that's the truth. I mean, right down to facts of what he's been going through that was not on Ghost Adventures. And, we've actually caught, I'm pretty sure we have an apparition caught near your bed.
Yeah, we got the apparition by the bed. We got the orbs galore. It's like the orbs fest. It's in the hallway.
Pulsing orbs as well. We've caught pulsing orbs there.
They've done 360s. They've done right angle, left angle turns, Mach 10, whatever. And like I said, that's the thing that, I mean, these things want you to think you're crazy, right? And they sometimes want the people around you to think you're crazy. And they know, okay, he's going to come in, he's going to bring them, we're not going to do anything. This is all, let them think he's crazy. But you're not. By the laws of physics, things just don't rise up and go flying by themselves. And what irks me the most from, I guess, I'm just going to say, ill-experienced paranormal investigators is they think you can just point a camera at something and wait for the thing to happen. It doesn't work that way.
No.
But, I know that.
Keith, I have to cut you off. At your house, it does happen like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I honestly, did I believe everything you were saying before I ever talked to you and before, Jen filled me in a little bit? No. I really didn't. And, that's how I am. I'm a skeptic. I am a psychic medium, but I don't believe everything, and I need to see it hands-on. I can tell you, straight up, after watching your house on those cameras, I can't believe that Ghost Adventures didn't capture anything. And that is the truth. They did capture an EVP there, which was resulted on extra pulses.
Yeah.
But, I think the whole show was a scam. And I think that shows a hoax, not your case. And that's my honest opinion. And anyone can quote me on that. I don't care. That is my personal opinion. Everything that you see on TV is not the truth, people. You can't watch TV and expect to learn about the paranormal because that's not going to happen. TV is meant for entertainment purposes only. Now, we are almost out of time, Keith, and I actually do want to tell you something that happened to me at my house. Now, we're gearing up for me to come out there soon.
Okay.
And you know how, I didn't even tell you this yet, but you know how me and the other two investigators who are choosing not to be named in this, you remember how we would hear the dragging furniture sounds?
Yeah. Got that too.
Okay. I think I actually talked about this on Sleepless Nights this week, right, Phil? Was it this week? Yes. That I was laying in bed, and above my attic, I heard the same exact sound, and I instantly connected to your house. So it's going to be interesting with the upcoming weeks if I encounter any more activity from your home.
Yeah.
And of course, I'll keep you updated, but it's no secret that I get visited from cases before it gets closer. Me and you have talked about this, that when it gets closer to the date that I'm going to be haunted and you're going to be haunted. So here it starts.
Oh, wow.
But, thank you so much for coming on, and I know this is just a scratch on the surface of your story.
Yeah.
Your story is a complex case. There's plenty more, and, when I'm at your house, we're going to actually do a live broadcast with Philip as well, because I know Philip's dying to hear more about this case, too.
Yeah, we got a lot of similarities, and it's just weird, dude. It just riddles the mind. But yeah, thank you for you and Phil. Thank you for sticking by these months and for conducting your investigation and drawing to conclusion. Because, like I said, it's just unreal.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Keith, and looking forward to doing a part 2 with you on the radio. Everybody that's listening, this is Keith Linder, Demons in Seattle. You are listening to Paranormal King Radio. That rocks. I'm Phil Siracusa. This is Karissa Fleck, and we're going to be signing off tonight. Everybody, thank you for listening. Again, Paranormal Unity. Have a great night.
Good night.